You can see that it's still there on the latest scan. Schroeder at 317, Russell at 320, and then Reed at 332 if it keeps on going in that direction. But again, the goal there, you got to make sure that we are again taking our precautions. It is 3:05 in the morning. This is not exactly the best time for these tornado warnings to occur. They're never a good time, but this is definitely not good because of the fact that it is so early in the morning. Not tornado winds, these were straight line winds, and sometimes you can get more damage from a straight line wind event than a tornado because it affects far more people. And as you'd imagine here too, when it affects far more people, you have a lot more power outages on one of the hottest days of the year. Now I will say, it is quite hard to do this with just one hand, but this is going to be one of the many new things that you can use and play with here at the State Fair. As you can see, we've got a lot of damage on their property. They've got about 5 acres here. We have a lot of very old growth trees that have unfortunately come down. The tornado did pass right through this grove here. Now, you might be thinking we had a lot of rain that fell over the course of our Friday and Saturday. Many locations picked up over a half an inch of rain, and a few spots actually saw over an inch worth of rain. But because all of our vegetation is still in a dormant state, again, we're still only in the middle of February, so nothing is really growing yet. So all this vegetation is very dry, not only just here on our property, but also pretty much everywhere else too. So when it's in a dormant state, it can burn very easily. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jack Gerfen at Lake Hefner, where we are again waiting for the water that was released from Canton Lake on Tuesday to make its way and help to replenish some of the levels that we have here at Lake Hefner. I'm going to just step off and just show you how dry things are here. These levels are down about 7 feet from where they normally should be.
I'm not gonna lie, I was locked in. I totally forgot about spring forward.
Yeah.
You saved me on
He
that
had a
because they
look
would have
of
had me.
despair when he saw that graphic pop
It
up.
was not great,
Nope.
folks.
It's like one thing Americans all agree on. We want to just get that thing locked on DST and then never change it again.
It could unite us all.
Yeah,
You know?
Really
the one
can.
thing to unite us all, yeah. It is a slow go of things here. This is I-40 and Meridian. You can see that both east as well as westbound lanes of I-40 coming in pretty slow right now, and just there's more traffic out there this evening. So just be careful out there. But, you know, still an enjoyable day to be outside, as you can see with our time lapse from the Devon Ice Rink earlier on today. Despite the mild temperatures in the 60s, still able to get a little bit of some skating in. We had some issues earlier on today with some grass fires. This was actually in Norman, 24th and Robinson. Crews were able to put out a small grass fire. We also had a larger fire that was down by Hobart earlier on today, and this picture was from their emergency management team down there. And then on the radar earlier on this afternoon and going into the early evening, we could still see every once in a while a little bit in the way of some smoke plumes there, right there along the Kingfisher-Blaine County line, just off to the east of Okeen. There was another large wildfire that we could actually see on the satellite here. It's this one here that's by Watauga within Blaine County there. We've got the potential there for 2.5-inch sized hail, so tennis ball sized hail potential with this storm here that's just off to the west of the Watauga area, moving very slowly to the east, but it is starting to turn a little bit more to the right. That's a little bit concerning here for us, as that sometimes can increase that tornadic potential. You've got a huge hail core here, and we'd be likely looking at that to be coming in on our radar product there of 3-inch pluses based on that color table there. And in terms of velocity, we can see that there is rotation again. These are supercells, so there is obviously rotation with a supercell, but we're watching that one really closely here. That's our biggest storm that we do have.
Jack, as you take a look at this, I mean, my good, we heard it. This was loud. This was nuts.
Yeah, this was the loudest I have ever heard it in this studio. We could hear things that were not water or hail hitting the building too. It's a very favorable environment here for the storm to keep on going. You got a lot of low clouds here. That scud that you can see with his storm there, and eventually the beaver tail just shows you here that the storm still has some potential as well as some life left with it here. But we can go back to the radar and just show here that that Carnes area is probably about right where that center of circulation would be. And so again, those locations that live in around there want to make sure that we are again seeking shelter as of this time, as it still moves off to our northeast at about 35 miles an hour or so. So wave number 1 is basically getting going right now as precipitation is starting to increase. Really though, the next couple hours will be critical for us to really see, unfortunately, our road conditions deteriorate as we see more precipitation intensity and it picks up. Most of us are going to see sleet and snow during this window into the overnight hours, and then by tomorrow morning, early afternoon, this round number 1 will slowly wind down. So as we animate through our futurecast, you'll see that there's our sleet line and our snow, and most of us, again, are cold enough to see mostly snow out of this first wave. This will continue overnight tonight and into your early morning hours and kind of actually around lunchtime or so for tomorrow.
Now, the snow and probably the sleet will not be totally gone, but there will be a bit of a lull before we pick things up again. And it's almost the same timing here. It's kind of more for your Saturday afternoon and really more the evening into the overnight hours and for Sunday morning, as then round number 2 will be coming to an end.
Well, we're going to be seeing multiple storm systems pass through the area, and that will give us a chance for rain showers and storms pretty much every day from tomorrow evening through Saturday. So our next weather maker will be this system that you've got across portions of Utah, Colorado, as well as Wyoming. And we'll be looking at that to bring with it the chance for some storms for tomorrow evening along the warm front, and then on Wednesday along the cold front as it passes on through. And then quickly following that system on Thursday will be our next system coming in behind that. That could activate the dry line, which could fire off a few showers and storms by Thursday evening. And then the storm system will be a lot slower to pass through the area. So along the cold front will be our storm chances on Friday, and even Saturday. That front may still be in the state, and so we could be talking about more storms by Saturday as well. So again, multiple storm systems coming on through will give us all these chances for rain showers and storms this week. Fire danger for tomorrow evening across portions of western Oklahoma because of the very warm and dry conditions, but really though we're focusing in on our chance for severe storms. Right now, SPC has a margin of risk out for the west and kind of northwest parts of the state for tomorrow for primarily that hail threat, where golf ball size hail could be possible with some of the stronger storms, and we could also see wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. One thing we'll also be noticing with our forecast for tomorrow will be a very warm and breezy day, and so much of the day will be just pretty dry with those warm temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s with windy conditions with gusts out of the south near 30 miles an hour. Now, late afternoon, early evening, there could be a few rain showers and storms that are able to develop, but I do think, though, that in terms of the severe potential, it would have to be later on at night with those storms coming on in, because those will be actually kind of along the warm front, which will give us that hail potential. And so our system is then tracking through the state throughout our Wednesday, and that's why we have our marginal risk and even slight risk already out from the Storm Prediction Center for Wednesday. Now you can see that those storms will be along the cold front, and it may have already passed a majority of our area by. So you'll see with this Futurecast model run for your Wednesday, a lot of the storm activity is probably going to be east of our area. So I don't think we're looking at exactly a big threat for at least our part of Oklahoma for our Wednesday, but there could definitely still be some severe weather across more of eastern and southeast Oklahoma. It just might be pretty far east of I-35 when that does occur. So we're kind of on the edge. We'll watch out for Wednesday, but as you can see, most of our storm potential does look to be, again, east of our area for our Wednesday, which is good. But then as we go into our Thursday, the second of the two systems comes through, and so that one will likely activate the dry line, and so there's already a slight risk out for the west side of the state for that potential, because as you'll see, the dry line will be across portions of the panhandles. We've got some good instability to work with too, and as that dry line pushes a bit farther off to the east, we'll be looking at more of those showers and storms to develop across the western part of the state for our Thursday night. And then as we go into our Friday, the cold front is then sweeping on through. That's why we have a big slight risk for much of the area on Friday, and then you'll just be thinking about then going into Saturday, that chance will still be there because that front probably has not totally cleared the area. So we'll be looking at a pretty good chance for us to see rain showers and storms on our Friday as that storm system's cold front is passing on through, and that will then continue into Saturday, which I think at that point we're not really too concerned about that. It'll be probably down farther off to our east and to our southeast, but again, multiple chances worth of rain showers and storms could obviously add up to quite a bit of rain for our area, but you'll notice though that most of the heaviest rain is generally to the east of I-44, just a little bit outside of our area, but definitely we'll keep an eye on things, and this should put a huge dent into our drought monitor, which would be good news. By the time we get to the weekend, we're probably drying out for our Sunday. The temperatures will be in the 60s. However, though, we are probably looking at more opportunities for some rain showers and storms for the following week as well. So this is still going to be, we think, a pretty active pattern for basically the first, let's call it, first 2 weeks of March. And, you know, we need the rain. Might not look exactly like that, but again, we need the rain, and thankfully more is on the way. So much warmer tonight, 51 for tonight with mostly cloudy skies. Things for winds picking up. Tomorrow, a high of 81 degrees. Most of us will have to wait pretty late tomorrow night for the chance for showers and storms. And then as you'll see, we've got then that chance on Wednesday, which might be a bit east of our area. We have to kind of wait and see where that front ends up. But I really think, though, that Thursday and Friday will be the days that we have to watch out for here. After that, as you can see, we've got more rain chances going into the following week. So another active week is expected. But at least we're not talking about fire danger, which is good. But,
yeah,
you know, we go from one to the other, and now we're talking about, you know, heavy rain and storms pretty much every single day.
A lot of people that take that rain right now. I'm
yes.
one of them. Anyone who's got any kind of allergy ever,
the tree pollen is sky high still.
Yeah.
I didn't have enough time to throw that in there. Sky high still. It should hopefully knock those levels down for at least a little bit.